Hey all, welcome to our channel. I'm Joe. Today we're going to be talking about generators, and I'm not talking about particular brands of generators or anything like that. We're talking about fuel. What type of fuel is best for you guys, best for generators. We're going to cover three fuels. We're going to cover gasoline, we're going to cover propane, and we're going to cover natural gas and what is better for you. Before I get into that though, let me explain a little bit about electricity to you guys so you guys know what these numbers mean and everything like that. I'm looking at them on the back, but you can see them over here on the front. Actually right over here. Alright, so this generator says 5300/6600, 4800/5900. Okay, now first thing is that's wattage. Alright, and what is wattage? Wattage is a way of measuring an amount of electricity, okay, and so is amperage. Alright, so this is a 240 volt generator. So if we were to take, you multiply volts times amps and you equal watts, or you take volts and divide them by watts and you get amps. Alright, so basically a 240 4800, if you do the math, would be 20 amps. Okay, and that's what you're going to get out of this. You're going to get 20 amps, and most people know your panel, when you have a panel in your house, it's not measured in wattage. Okay, it's measured in amperage. You most likely have a 200 amp panel inside of your house. So this generator here, on the lower number, is going to put out about 20 amps. On the higher number, you're going to put out about 24 amps, so you get a little bit more amperage. Okay, what this means is the higher number is gasoline. Okay, the fuel that you run does matter. That's why we're doing this video today. The type of fuel that you run, it does matter. Okay, so I'm going to go through these different types of fuels. We're going to cover gasoline, propane, and natural gas, and then when I'm done at the end, I'll tell you exactly what I recommend that you guys do. So, like I said, gasoline, you're going to get higher amperage. You see here that this is 5300, this generator, on gasoline. Okay, that's when you fill up this tank here and you run gas. The 6600 is a surge. Okay, so that means when you start up, let's say you want a generator that's going to run your air conditioner. Okay, any motor when it starts up pulls a huge amount of amperage during startup. Okay, that's called start mode. It only does that for a split second, then it goes into run mode. Okay, and at run mode it's way less than it is in start mode. So the bigger number here, the 6600, that is the maximum amperage that you can run during a startup. Well pumps pull a lot, air conditioning compressors, all of these things pull a lot. So that's what that bigger number means. Okay, so if you're running gasoline, that's where you'll get the maximum amperage out of this. Now the next number, that is running on propane. Okay, this is a dual generator, but I actually have two generators. Okay, I have this generator and I have another one, which I'll go show you guys in a second here. The generator 4800 on propane, okay, that gives me 20 amps. Okay, if you take 240 times 10 would be 10 amps, would be 2400. Double that would be 4800. That gives you 20 amps. So this will give me 20 amps, which in my case is way more than enough. If I'm running everything in my house on my panel over here, my air conditioning, my lights. If you watched our previous videos, you know when I built this house, I designed it super high efficient. My entire wattage on this house, if I'm running the AC, I have it down at 72 degrees. I'm running all the lights in the house. I'm running everything else in the house. I'm pulling about 3 amps. That's it. So to have a 20 amp generator and only be pulling 3 amps, now my well is going to pull a little bit more. When I start up the well, my well, when it's running, pulls about 7 amps in that area. So again, more than enough sufficient here to run all that. So that's why I've chosen propane, but I also have a backup. So in this case here, if you're going to try to run an air conditioner in your house, you're going to try to run something big, you want to run multiple things, then you do want to run your generator on gasoline. Okay, and I'm not getting into name brands of generators because I've installed literally hundreds of generators over the years, and as whole house generators. And in an upcoming video, quite soon actually, if you guys remember one of our previous videos, I told you I was waiting for some parts to come in to connect this to my panel and run this on my entire house. Well, those parts came in. And I'm going to be covering that video here. So gasoline is going to give you your maximum amperage. Okay, propane is way easier to store. You're not going to get the amount of amperage, but if you don't need the amount of amperage, then propane becomes a better fuel than gasoline because it's not actually cheaper than gasoline. I think last time I filled up my propane tanks, I paid like $3.99 per gallon for propane when gas was like $3.28. So gasoline was cheaper. The thing is though, propane I can store for a long time. And don't have to worry about that going bad. Okay, and I don't need to get this maximum amperage out of here. So that's your advantage to gasoline. You're going to get the maximum amperage out of the generator. Propane is going to be easier to store. Okay, you can store propane a lot easier. You have your propane tanks, you know, and it's just a lot easier than gasoline. And gasoline will go bad as time goes by, so you can store propane a lot longer. So that is some of the advantages. Okay, gasoline, you get your maximum amperage. Propane is easier to store. You can store more of it for a longer time. Okay. This generator here can be connected to a whole house, and again, I'm going to be doing a video to show you guys how to do that, to where if the power goes out, we're off grid, and I have no power coming into this panel here, then this generator will be connected to my entire house, just like the power company, utility power coming in, and it will run my entire house. When we get into, you guys know I've been covering the 4 elements of survival. One of them is shelter. Okay, so when we get to shelter, I'm going to be explaining some things to you guys, because in one of my first few videos, I don't remember which one, I basically told you guys how I've helped people over the years, hundreds and hundreds of people prep. I've gone out to a lot of people's houses, okay, and they see these commercials for a standby generator. A lot of them are elderly people. They're on oxygen. They're on a fixed income. They can't have their food going bad. They need the oxygen machine running and stuff like that. So I come out, they see the price of that generator, and it's just way beyond what they can do. When you're talking $13,000, $14,000, $15,000, some people have to do it. Okay, I've installed literally hundreds of those generators, and some people have to do it because they just can't drag something like this out, connect it to the house, start it up, and it's not a big deal. But if you're somebody who can't physically handle it, then you go with the standby generator that the power goes off and it starts up by itself, and you know, it costs a lot of money though, but that's the problem. So this generator here can be hooked up to the entire house, and like I said, when we get into shelter, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how I've helped people who have big houses. I mean, I've gone into people's houses with 2,000 and 3,000 square feet, and a generator like this is not going to run that air conditioner. They have multiple refrigerators, they have freezers. So one of the things like I've done is I've showed them how to take that huge house and isolate an area of that house, and I call it your sanctuary area, okay? If a storm comes by, a hurricane comes through, grid goes down, whatever, you can actually take a generator like this and take a section of your home, no matter how big your home is, and you can cool off that part. You can run a refrigerator, you can have lights, you can have TV so you see what's going on out there, watch the news, and actually do all this for a fraction of the cost. So when I get into shelter, I'm going to be covering that for you guys. So like I said, this is a dual fuel generator. This will run on gasoline, this will run on propane. They make tri-fuel generators, okay? They'll run on gasoline, they'll run on propane, and they will run on natural gas. Natural gas is, unless you have natural gas piped into your house, you can't go buy it, okay? Propane is still a petroleum-based product, all right? So it's filled up in gallons, you fill up your tanks. Natural gas is something that's piped into your home, and there's a good advantage to natural gas, because natural gas, if you have it piped into your home, you have an unlimited supply of gas, okay? If a storm comes by, a hurricane comes through, and you're going to be 2-3 weeks without power, which I've seen this happen here in Florida, you're running that generator 24 hours a day, and you have all the gas that you need. You're not going to switching propane tanks and all that. So these are all the different features, advantages, and benefits to these different types of generators. And like I said, we're going to go take a look at my other generator in a minute. I do have a whole house standby generator. It's a 16 kW. Now, what is a kW? A kW is basically 1,000 watts, okay? This here is a 5300. So this would basically be a 5 kW generator. It would be 5,000 watts, all right? So if I say I have a 16 kW generator, that means I have a 16,000 watt generator. It's way more than I would ever need for this house over here. That is really my emergency backup generator, because this is my primary generator over here. And we'll go take a look at that generator in a minute. I'll show you that one. But like I said, that is a backup generator, which I would only use if I could not use this one for whatever reason anymore. This one broke. I didn't have propane. Now that generator is a dual fuel as well. The difference is this is a dual fuel that will run on gasoline or propane. That is a dual fuel that will run on propane or natural gas. Okay, so I actually have all three gases covered on mine. So like I said, these numbers here, this generator here, I am going to show you how you can hook this up to the whole house. Again, dual fuel, propane and gasoline. Gasoline gives you your maximum amount of amperage. So if you're trying to run a big air conditioner in a house, then you need a big enough generator to do that. And I've had medium-sized houses where the customer asked me, if I hook up that generator, will it run my AC? And my standard answer was, oh, maybe, but I doubt it, okay? And unless you had enough amperage that you know you're way beyond what that generator is going to, what that air conditioner is going to take, my normal answer was, I don't know, it might, but I doubt it. There's also things on an air conditioner you can do if it won't start up. Like I did have one, actually I put in a 22 kW whole house standby generator, and the customer had a 5-ton air conditioner. It was a big house, and the air conditioner would not start up. Okay, the generator ran, it ran everything in the house, but when it tried to start up, what happened was the air conditioner has a built-in time delay, okay, and the time delay interprets power interruptions, okay, which means when your compressor in your air conditioner is running, The newer units, older Freon units, would run at about 250 pounds on the high side. The newer ones are well over that. Okay, so what happens when the power goes off and comes right back on, that compressor will turn off and then try to start back up with that high pressure. Okay, and it's very damaging. It's called short cycling. It'll short cycle a compressor. So they have a built-in device. It's called a time delay. They're in your thermostats. Years ago we would sell them as accessories and install them on the units, but now they come with units basically. And what happens if there's that power interruption, it will shut your unit down for 5 minutes, let the pressure go back down to normal, and then it starts under normal conditions. Well, that's what was happening in this case. Okay, the unit was pulling so much amperage on startup that the device, the time delay device inside of it, interpreted this as a power interruption, and it would shut it down in the time delay for 5 minutes. So I went out to the AC supplier, picked up what's called a start assist, okay? And I put a start assist on this, and that did cure the problem, all right? Start assist is basically a power booster, how I've described it to people over the years. Instead of making the compressor work to pull all the power and electric to it, it actually pushes it to it and gives it that extra boost. And that solved the problem, okay? So there is ways you can modify your air conditioner to work on your generator if it's not. But a generator like this would not start a whole house, you know, a big 3, 4, 5 ton unit. Mine, like I said, it runs mine because I put in a super high efficiency. It's called a 22 SEER. SEER meaning seasonal energy efficiency rating. 22 is getting up there. Standard by law, which we've installed in Florida here for years, is 14 SEER. Okay, that's the minimum you can put in. You can't put in a 13, you can't put in a 12, which they don't even make anymore, but you still see them in older houses. So, like I said, your generator, unless you get a whole house and you've done load calculations, it may or may not start a whole house, okay, air conditioner. But again, I can show you a way that you guys can get around that, which I will in my upcoming videos. Like I said, when we cover the shelter on houses, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. All right, so anyways, like I said, this one, gasoline will give you the most. Propane is more convenient. Propane is a little bit more expensive. So at this point, let's go and take a look at my other generator. Okay, so this is my other one. This is a 16 kW. Like I said, I will never use this generator. This generator will only be used in a couple circumstances. One, if my other generator stops working, or I run out of propane or gasoline and I can no longer run that, that's when I will be using this generator over here. The other thing about this generator, which is convenient, is this will run on natural gas, okay? Natural gas, you can make your own natural gas. You heard me talk about that before. You can make your own natural gas. So if I'm in an off-grid situation for a long time and I can no longer get gas, well, I can make my own methane gas, and that will run this generator here. So this is a dual generator. This is propane and natural gas. Okay, so my other one is gasoline and propane. This one is propane and natural gas. And again, I would not be using this generator unless I had to. It's way too big. It will consume a lot more gas. But this is my second generator. This is a whole house standby generator. And like I said, this is basically something I would not use unless I have to. Okay, so I do have two generators here. Alright, so what is my recommendation to you guys? My recommendation is pretty simple. It's the same thing I've done. The one difference is, in my case, I'd recommend you guys buy what's called a tri-fuel. Okay? A tri-fuel, again, this is a dual fuel, that one is a dual fuel. A tri-fuel will run on all three. Okay? Tri-fuel will run on natural gas, propane, or gasoline. That way, if you need the maximum amperage, you could put gasoline in. Okay? If you don't need the maximum amperage, you can store a lot more propane, you can stack your tanks up somewhere in your shed, something like that, and makes it a lot easier. But then at the same time, if you go into a long-term off-grid situation, you definitely want a generator that is going to run on natural gas, because again, I'm not going to do a video on this. I told you guys, if you're going to make your own methane gas, then you need to learn more than what a YouTube video can teach. Okay, you might miss something on a YouTube video, so I'm not really going to cover it, but again, I do know how to make my own. You can learn how to make your own. So that is my recommendation, that you guys go for tri-fuel. Okay, one that will run on natural gas, one that will run on propane, or one will run on gasoline, and then you guys basically have everything covered. So, like I was saying, I'm going to be connecting this to the whole house, and we're going to be doing that video fairly soon. So, if you're interested in seeing how that's done, subscribe, hit the notification button when that comes out. You guys will know that we did it. Not long after that, we're going to be doing the shelter, going back into the 4 elements of survival. And shelter, I believe, is what I'll be covering next, because there's a lot of advantages to that. Like I said, in a hurricane situation, even if you're up north, a nor'easter, power goes down, whatever, blizzard, I can show you how to take a section of your home and make that your sanctuary area where if it's a blizzard, you have a heater running, you have electric running, you got your refrigerator going. The rest of the house doesn't much matter, right? It can stay cold. Same thing if you're here in Florida or other tropical places that are hot. Same thing. If you have that nice cold room, you can go to sleep at night, you have your refrigerator running, you have access to your kitchen, use the microwave. Okay, these are the things that you need. When a storm comes through or you're in an off-grid situation, you don't need your entire house powered like it is every single day. Okay, you basically just need certain areas of your home to be powered. And like I said, this generator will do that. No matter how big your house is, this one right here, which this generator, they're all fairly close to the same. I looked around. This was a dual fuel. I believe it's somewhere around 650, 700. I don't remember exactly. Probably more around that 650 range. Delivered right to my house and all that. So it's not a big investment. It's not the $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 that a whole house generator is going to cost you. So again, that's my recommendation, guys, that you go for tri-floor generator. And again, like, subscribe, hit the notification buttons, and I'll be showing you how I connect this to my panel over here to run my entire house. And then I'll be showing you guys how you can take your home, doesn't matter how big your house is, okay? I don't care if you have a 10,000 square foot house. I can show you how you can take a generator like this and create yourself a little sanctuary area inside of your home and have power, have air conditioner, heater running, have a refrigerator going, keep your freezers going, still be able to use your stove and your microwave and things like that. So, like I said, subscribe, hit the notification buttons, and those videos will be coming out very, very soon. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you on the next one.